Good evening, good evening. Happy Wednesday. Y'all, it is the end of June. This year is skirting on by. So I hope y'all have been having an amazing year so far. What is it, 6 months? Woo, that is half a dang on year, y'all. How is business going? Since this is pretty much what our focus is, even though we talk about life and kids sometimes and all the things. How's everybody's businesses doing? Are you where you thought you'd be at this 6 month mark? Share with us in the comments if you're open to do that. This is a safe space, I promise you. I'm actually far better off than I thought I was going to be because I changed up things for myself. So I would love to hear where everybody is at. Do you need some help? Is there any way that the three of us could, help you in some way, share some resources, like however we can help you, let us know. So tonight we're going to focus heavy on those of you in an industry where you work primarily, if not heavily, on the socials, online. You're showing up in this space, right? You got your Instagrams, your Facebooks, there's Lemon8 now, Pinterest, like all these places are hot and jumping. But working online or taking that catchphrase, I can work from my phone, can be draining like a mug. Like you can find yourself here all day, every day. I know when I first started, I think I was attached, like trying to do all the things because it's so accessible, right? But that's not effective. My business did not see a whole lot of growth, and my body felt a whole lot of burnout and crap. And that's not where we want to be with our businesses. Sometimes we just have to learn. I have to learn sometimes by falling. And so we're going to talk about summer strategies that we're implementing. This is coming from a place of what we're doing to help, because there are a lot. There are a lot of things that you can do to help your business flourish during the summer. I love the saying, right? That's like you're you're growing, you're doing all the things, you're building a foundation in the summer, but this is going to help get those numbers that you want in the fall and winter, right? You're doing all the things now that are going to bring the people in, get their buy-in, help them say yes come fall and winter. So we don't always see results right away, but they compound over time. And doing it in the summer, not taking it off, but while still being able to have fun is important. I know it's important to me. I know the three of us are super busy, us coming together and doing these. Though we love them, it's so difficult right now. There's so many things going on. Kids are out doing all the things. Then there's a homeschooling moms. That's a whole other element. Life is happening. And so, but our businesses are not falling to the wayside. Those are still a prominent figure in our lives. And so we wanted to come and just kind of share how we're managing during the summer, how we're taking time off, but our business is not suffering because of it. And we hope this blesses you and helps you in some way. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Make sure you go follow that YouTube channel so that you can catch replays whenever you miss them. Let's get into it. Summertime can be where businesses come to die, right? It's the boneyard because people want to take time off. If you've got kids, especially, you're like planning all the trips and you can't figure out where your business fits in. So what are you doing currently to make sure that your business is still getting the same attention as it does? Dayna, this is a really good one for you because your kids don't go off to school. They stay at home. You're responsible for that curriculum, having somebody come in and teach. I know they get their science taught and they're thriving and do amazing things. Dayna has amazing kids. So that's going to be a whole other level for those moms running businesses and that, that do homeschool. So yeah, y'all not going to want to miss this, but we want to take the time off. How are you navigating that? Dayna specifically, we'll kick off with you since you have a whole other element. Your kids don't leave the house to go to school. They're right there. First of all, do you guys take summer break? I know that's a big question. I always wonder. I know some don't. They do it different times. So do you take it? And then what do you do during that time? Because seemingly it would seem like you have no break, right?
Yes. So we do take a summer break, but there's certain levels and skills that like I don't want my kids to lose. And so there might be some trickling of a little bit of curriculum that happens. I'll just use even for my daughter. She cannot stand math, right? Like, so she's like, I'm not gonna need this. I'm not going to use this for what I'm going into, right? But obviously she has to have all of those foundations and the academics and things like that. So she will have some things that she's going to do throughout the summer to keep her skills at least at the level, and so we can build upon it as she moves into going into 8th grade, right? So there are some things that we do, but it's not a full like schedule. It's not a full throttle. I will say, yes, my kids stay at home a lot. I say this all the time because I just want to be transparent. There's a lot of my homeschooling that I do outsource. So because I am building a business, because I am doing some other things, I cannot give like all of it to the homeschooling. I also have an amazing support system. So there's subjects that my kids actually will start school later in the day. And then it trickles into around when their father gets home, because he will then take on some of their schooling. He's much more patient than I am. They actually enjoy him a little bit more. But I will say, when it comes to strategy for summer, I really feel like the shift has to be, first and foremost, give yourself grace. Okay. Give yourself grace and say, it's okay if, this week we're going to the wave pool. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. So y'all know I live in Michigan. Okay. Detroit, baby. 2 weeks ago, we were still in the 50s, y'all. Okay. June, y'all, June, right? I was wearing a jacket like it was ridiculous. Okay. So if we got some nice weather, if it's hot and we can be in a pool and we can be outside and we can be playing and we can have fun, we gonna do that, because we only get about, maybe 3 months of it, maybe, right? So we got to take full advantage. We have to really be able to enjoy that time. And so I know that with my kids, I know that I'm going to have to give up a little bit more. So my strategy really is then to just basically focus at other times. And I say, hey, I know that this is going to be a little bit of a lighter load when it comes to my business. But what things can I work out where either I incorporate my children and they're a part of it, right? Or I say, hey, this is just not going to get done during this season. And now I want to be very clear, though, my business doesn't stop. I do not, just because they're out of school doesn't mean that I am out of business. Okay. So I still am very focused on making sure that things run in my business, but my strategy is a little bit different because it's going to be a lighter load. It's going to look a little bit differently, just because I know that that's where I am. But going back to, my children are a part of my business. They have always been a part of my business. Okay. So they run their own businesses too. So they get it too. Actually, their business gets a little bit busier during the summertime because they got a little more freedom, right? So they understand those nuances. And so then we make it fun. So instead of maybe, I know we're talking a little bit more about online stuff. We might need to take our, laptops or whatever, and we might say, hey, we're going to go to the park. So today, mommy is going to work at the park while you guys enjoy outside and have fun, right? Or even the pool, right? So we have a pool in our complex. Hey, let's walk to the pool. Mommy's going to work here, right? While you guys play in the pool, right? So they're still getting their recreation. They're still having their fun. Sometimes, because it's summertime, they're going to be hanging a little bit more with their cousins. Sometimes they're going to be hanging a little bit more with their friends. And I can kind of hone in on that schedule to, like, hey, you'll have my kids here. I'll take your kids there. This is when I'm going to book my calls. This is when I'm going to plan out my things. I'm not for the stressful, I'm not going to have a house full of screaming kids while I'm trying to do a Zoom and trying to close a deal. You know what I mean? I'm not doing all of that, right? So that's going to get scheduled differently, because I know how I am. I can't show up 100% here if I got kids yelling and screaming and fighting or doing stuff over there. So that's kind of like my baseline, how I just kind of already know what the season is. I'll say for me, I've been in business for some years now, so I know that that's what it's going to be, but I do not put on the brakes. I'm going to be very clear on that. I do not put on the brakes because I do know that what you build now is going to be what thrives, like Tameka was saying, in the fall. If you do nothing now and then you try to backpedal when it comes to back to school and you're trying to, oh, but I have the deals. They're like, who are, what? You ain't been here for a month. What you mean you got deals? Now you want me to spend money and you ain't even showed up at all, right? So I do think it's important to still show up, but you might get a little more behind the scenes. You might see me with my kids at the pool. You might see me, doing classes at the park with my kids, bubbles and things like that we're doing a little bit more fun.
Do you find that you planned for, because this is like you're saying, it's a little hectic, there's things going on, a lot more planning, right? Do you find that because I know you're big on, we've talked about this before, planning ahead. So you and I are similar in the way that this week, we're not dealing with anything June. We're all the way through the end of July, like what's going on there. So for your summer stuff as a season, even as a quarter, so to speak, were you prepared for this? Because it comes every year, right? So were you prepared for this, in spring? Because technically, we are in summer now, it's the 21st or whatever. But were you prepared for this and all the things that were going to happen prior to this season hitting? Or did you wait till April? Like, how did that shake out for you?
So I did kind of wait a little bit more till April. And the only reason, so where my brain gets a little stuck is I think quarters, right? So I think every 3 months. So, right. So technically, the next quarter starts in July. So that's kind of halfway into summer. So my content cut off, in June and then restarted in July. So back in April or so, that's when I'm planning out then July. So July, August, September. I will say, so then that, even though it splits up the summer, technically I'm actually thinking fall. So even though July is technically summer, that's my fall stuff. And I am coming back where it's like, now I have like more education coming out. So I have more classes. I have more even online things that I'm doing with my marketing. So there's systems and things in the summer that, even though I've already announced that those things are coming, during the summer, I'm actually working on honing those in and making them perfected. So if I have a workshop that I'm doing that's coming out in August, September, or whatever, I'm actually doing the logistics part of it during the summer. I'm working it out so that I can be ready for when that date comes.
Now I know you normally do I think is it a Wednesday night class? No, Tuesday night?
Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. So Dayna always has her and her husband normally come on and they do an amazing education, something to do with like your system of your body and essential oils. It's really great, really informative. So make sure you follow that and go check those out. But is there something like that, like summertime, that because that requires planning, even if you outsource the content and you're teaching it from your own experience, that takes a lot of time and planning. Is there anything like maybe that specifically, or anything within your business that you do during those other times of year that you like kind of snip for the summer because of the time that it takes to do it? Is it something you offload and don't host during the summer, like take a break during the summer and then bring back in the fall?
Yeah, it's just lighter. So definitely, I'm not doing as many classes. I'm not doing as much education. But what you will find me going live a lot more. And the reason being is, again, because now my kids are incorporated in things. Like even last summer we did, I think, just I want to say it was almost once a week, if not once a week, very close to it, where I went to a certain park and we would just do different activities, like fun kid activities that I would incorporate oils with. So one of the times we made scented bubbles with essential oils and things like that. And what we actually end up doing is it's open to anybody that's at the park. So all these other little kids came around and they were making bubbles with us too. And then I'm talking to the moms and, we're connecting that way. So something like that, I'm not, it's going to be a more physical thing. And then I go live so people know, hey, I'm still working, but this is what work is looking like right now. Or we've done all types of stuff. I think we've made Play-Doh and what is not Play-Doh? What's the stuff? Slime. Yeah, the slime, scented slime and stuff like that. So that's where it looks a little bit different. So I'm still showing up pretty consistently. I'm just showing up differently.
I love that. I think that's a perfect example of how you can still incorporate your business but have everyday life. And it's great content. Like yours, I mean, this is things that you can carry over into the fall. Because if you live somewhere like I do, Florida, August, it's gonna still feel like 7 Africas here for absolutely no reason. But those pictures that I took maybe in July, June, I didn't use, they still apply. So there's a lot of things happening that you can use content wise. So on the flip side, Andriana is our mama that works a regular 9 to 5, so to speak, and also runs technically 2 businesses. So your Andriana, if you don't know, is a teacher, and we were talking about this before we went live. She's gonna head back in July. So how are you, and what things, strategies, whatever you want to call them, what are you implementing to make sure that your businesses either are still running at the same steam or you're adding in new pieces? Because you have a lot going on going back to school. You have kids at home. We talked about in a few episodes that you're responsible for other people as well. So what are you doing in this specific season for your businesses and keeping them moving forward?
Well, first of all, what am I doing? I sat down at the beginning of the summer, the last day of school, sat down, made a list to plan out my content for June through October. Now, before we got on here, Dayna said I should be ready for the rest of the year. I don't know about November and December. Y'all got to pray for me. But I planned those months out. I know what I want to talk about. It's just executing. And then as far as adding new pieces in, I've created worksheets, emails. I've scheduled some things. So be on the lookout for that. It's just actually sitting down, putting pen to paper, and just actually planning for me, because that's where I often struggle. Plan and then the execution. As far as my kids being at home, they're not here. So I get time to batch and schedule and all the things. So I got a little quiet time to myself for the next couple of weeks. So we'll get that done. I don't have as much going on. So I'm just here and it's like, okay, today is the day to record a few videos, and then the day goes by and nothing. But I'm gonna get there.
So since you said that, it sounds like a planning thing. What tools or like apps or whatever, because we have technology is like ridiculous now. But what do you think would better help you, or tools that you're thinking about implementing that will help you achieve those goals that you have for getting those videos recorded, making the time effective while your kids are away and you have that little bit of freedom?
First of all, StreamYard has become my best friend. Scheduling live videos, yes. I also use Canva to schedule some stuff. The business suite through Facebook. Using that, I'm trying to now link my Facebook and my Instagram. I still need help with that. I am not as tech savvy as I thought I was. But I'm working with that right now, just to try to get things scheduled and linked up, so to speak. And I'm playing around with HoneyBook. That's a scheduling app. I can get paid through that. So, yeah.
I don't think I've heard of HoneyBook. I don't think I have. I know there's so many.
It's cheap now. You better get in, honey.
Yeah, I use HoneyBook.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. Nigga, write it down, y'all. HoneyBook. I don't know nothing about it, but get on it. There are so many beneficial apps out there, devices, programs, whatever you want to call it, that can help you schedule. For me personally, I do have my kids home. My kids go to school. But like Dayna mentioned, and like I said, she and I are similar in the way that June was done before my kids got out, because I know one of my vices is I hate planning ahead because I always feel like it boxes me in. But I learned that having a plan for where you want to go makes it so much easier for being that kind of creative, right? If you have a creative mind, like you're like, I want to do all this. Dan and I have talked about it. Like Dayna said, she runs 50 million businesses in her mind and she skips from one, and her husband's like, no, you gotta bring this down, bring it to a point, right? But that can't happen if you don't have direction. So that's something I've had to learn in my business, because summers I would work them, but we'd be like at the water park and I would quickly run out of the water and go sit down and do something. And though my kids didn't mind, I wasn't fully there because I was distracted and was like okay, now I need to get back. And then people are watching me like, oh, what's she doing? So it was a whole thing. Summers became very, very exhausting because it was like a balancing act. And Dayna and I both are like adverse to the word in that way, because it's like it's impossible. There's no way to be like this in the summer, right? Something has to give. And so you got to find, like Dayna said, give yourself grace and find where you're willing to make those changes. And for me, it was taking time to plan, like, what do I want to do? So I have a theme for the month, and literally it is this month, chaos in the summer. Like, how can you embrace that in the summer? And that's what I talk about. And so I actually was able to do content for June scheduled, because this is a part of my life that's been a huge struggle, is chaos in summer. Like, I want to enjoy summer. We want to go and do the things. We live by all the amusement parks. So we don't do them in the summer. We do them during the year, but we want to go do other things. And so we want to visit, monuments and do the things that we don't, national parks and things we don't normally do during the school year because they're not close to us. That takes planning, right? And I want to not have my business be like a big bulb on my head, because I'm like, okay, how can I do this and this? So I have a theme and I schedule, and then July is the same. Like for me, like Dayna said, you can't wait. Back to school is coming. It's either August or September, no matter what it is. So don't wait till September 15th and be like, okay, now I'm going to tell, we've been in school, boo. We've been doing school. Like, your back to school sale is not meaning nothing, because I would imagine Target, Walmart, all those places are about to start putting backpacks and back to school supplies out here in the next few weeks, if they have not already in your area. So it's like talking about Father's Day today. Well, Father's Day is Sunday. So most people have already done the things, right? I hope if you're honoring a father on Sunday, they've done the things. Or if you're hosting a Juneteenth celebration, just now, putting it out there ain't gonna cut it, because most people have already made their plans. They got their outfits, their t-shirts, like they got their nails done, their hair, like they're ready to go. So you can't wait. Like, the planning is important. Whatever that looks like for you, whether it's batching, whether it's coming up with a theme for the month and you doing content, or like Dayna mentioned last episode, if it's simply you going back to last summer, taking all of that content, repurposing it for this season. I don't even remember what I posted last summer. So your followers, your people do not remember what you talked about last summer. And it's like Dayna said, it's easy switches. One that was a static, just a single picture, you make into a reel with, maybe some other pictures you took this year. You make it into a carousel. You go live about, like, there's so many ways that you can take that content and do it so that you can sit and enjoy summer. If that's what you're trying to do, you can take the vacations without all the other implications. And then in your downtime, like Andriana saying, your kids are gone, then you can go and you can interact with your people. Your kids still have bedtimes. My child I just walked out there before we went live here, and he just fell asleep in the loft. So he's asleep. If I go back out there and he's not awake when we're finished here, there are some things that I'm going to do that, because it's downtime, right? So I'm going to use it effectively before he wakes up and asks me to play Super Mario or go outside and play basketball. Like, I don't have to miss those things because I was prepared for June before June hit. And I know that can seem like that's a lot of work, but you want to run a business, you've got to be prepared for those moments. Christmas is coming. A big thing for us in network marketing and for every business is Black Friday. It comes every year, people. If you're not with a company that gives you a sale and you have to create your own, don't wait till Halloween to decide what it is you're going to do. It's way too much planning for you. This is what we're saying. Like, businesses, your business is going to thrive come the fall if you were prepared in the summer with all the things that you needed to do. Stop doing things like live in action, right? Do them beforehand, but it takes planning and it sucks. I'm not a planner. I hate it. I think it's like the worst thing, but I have seen so much more growth in my business personally when I've been operating in this place of, like, July is already done, blogs are already being written and scheduled. And like I said, even if it's just a week's worth of extra content, you're ahead of it. It's 1 week that if an incident happens, you're like, okay, I can't show up today. You're covered, right? So it takes the planning, it takes the time. I will say it a million times. I think I said the last 2 episodes. being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. It takes a lot of hard work. There is no shame, blame, or any of that. If you would rather take that swipe card, go and clock in, or however you do it, and make your money, because it isn't easy, right? Dayna said it beautifully I think it was last episode. It's not. Like, it usually is a whole lot more money than you thought it was going to be going out than coming in, especially in those first like 10 years. We say 5, but it does take a long time. And so set yourself up in these months, ahead of time. We know summer is coming. It's all about that forward thinking. And I hope this helps you in some simple way. Planning out. Everybody is different. 3 different mamas on here do 3 different things. Dayna has the homeschooling, and she's telling you it can be done. It can be done to run your business in the summer, homeschool, have children at home. It's just, across the board is planning and knowing what it is that you want to do. So if you have any questions for us, if we can elaborate more, let us know in the comments. We would love to hear what strategies you're implementing for the summer, how you're making summer work for you. We'd also like to know if you just say, scrap the whole thing, I'll see you guys in September, and how that works for you. Because for some people, maybe that works. They just tell people, I'm not here for the summer. You better shop with me during the rest of the year. Go ahead, Dayna. I see you reaching.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, to your point. You may have a business that I think of, even though I don't promote it much, I have, clothing, right? So I have swag, and I have, my kids talked about me using the word swag. They're like, that is an old person term. But that's drop shipped, right? So anybody at any time could go on my website and purchase that. Same with my book, right? Like, it's automated. Like, if you want to go purchase my book, you know what I mean? You can just go online, you can order it, boom, it's done. So you might have a situation where you still have income coming in, even if you're not like physically showing up. So maybe you do have a season where you can actually close your doors. The only thing that I just would word of caution, still try to be visible, right? Like, so I do feel like there's levels where we feel a little cheated when it's like, oh, every time she got a sale, every time she dropping a new line or dropping a new workshop, then she pop up. We don't know where she go anytime other. It emotionally makes people think that you're kind of inconsistent and maybe not really passionate about what you do. But I definitely can see that where there's people that can close their doors. They can kind of just say, hey, this is the season that I'm not going to be showing up because I'm going to give 100% over here. So know that about yourself, know that about your business, and be okay with it. You don't have to show up the way someone else is just because they are.
Absolutely. 100%. Everybody's business looks different, but understand your goals and where you want to go, and get to it, baby. Get to it. All right, y'all. Ooh, it'll be July the next time we see you guys. Anyway, y'all, enjoy the rest of your June, whatever you're getting up to. If you missed this episode or any of the ones previous, and any ones that come after this, go check out that YouTube link, follow that channel. They will be uploaded there for you to watch and share and do all the things. Make sure you tag your entrepreneur friends in this post, in this video, so that they can hear. Maybe they're struggling with some, summertime issues and how to run their business. Y'all, same time, same place next week, July Wednesday, first Wednesday of July. We will be back 6 Eastern, 5 Central. Until then, be good.